Kai Hansen, your new album, New World Order, is about to be released. And I remember the Power Plant album was your second album with a steady lineup. What's the lineup like on this album?
It's still the same.
Really?
Isn't that amazing?
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. No, it's really great. I mean, this band has developed so much into a real good chemistry and friendship and everything, so it's something to be very happy about, you know.
Is it important for you to have a steady lineup? I mean, you're like the brain, the main man in the band, and I believe you always had very good musicians in the band, but now that you had the steady lineup for like 3 albums, does that make a big difference musically?
It does, yes. I mean, it's about, you know, understanding, speaking the same language when you compose, when you're together in the studio, you know, without having to argue or explain too much, you know, just say, okay, I hear it like this, and, you know, find a certain term for it, and everybody agrees on it and knows what you're talking about. And so in cases where you are kind of stuck or don't know any further, it's always great to have, like, somebody around you who understands perfectly what it's about, what Gamma Ray is or should be, and you can just, you know, put the decision in his hands and say, what do you think? You know, what do you think we should do? And if this person says something and you say, that's a good idea, then you know you understand each other and you're adding up to each other. So that's absolutely the situation we have in the band, you know.
But
there's no ego trips and you know, and no competition in a way. You know, I write better songs than you, and I'm more important and stuff like that. So it's everything is set and everything is agreed on.
It has been 2 years since your last album, Power Plants, and I believe the Blast from the Past album you released last year, making new versions of old songs, took a lot of your time. Have you been working with this new album for 2 years, or did you start working on this album after you had finished the recordings for Blast from the Past?
Well, we started working actually. It's hard to say. I started working somewhere last year later, like the same time around now, doing songwriting, you know, starting with songwriting, and then slowly went on until December, and then I had like 4 songs where I said, okay, these are cool, and we started recording then. And so the whole process until the end took us half a year, and that included songwriting and all kinds of recordings and mixing and everything. In between, I was on the Iron Savior tour as well, and so it was like a long growing process.
All right. When you write songs, how do you approach the songwriting? I mean, do you write the songs for Gamma Ray, or just the songs just come out the way they come out?
It is that way. They come out as they come out, you know. I mean, of course, mainly it is done for Gamma Ray, but it's more like if I write a song, it's a Kai song, you know. That's the first basic thing, and I don't really think about who I write it for. Of course, when I write, and I know it's going to be played by Gamma Ray, I already imagine the styles of playing from the other guys, and, you know, everything that belongs to Gamma Ray.
Have you written songs that you've been pleased with, but they didn't fit Gamma Ray?
I did, actually, but I never, you know, these songs I never really finish. I just put out the idea and just put it on tape somewhere as a rough thing, or, you know, just a bridge and chorus and whatever, and then I just leave it, you know, because I just don't work it out anymore, any bigger. Actually, there was one song for this album when I started songwriting some time ago. I had new equipment, and to check it out, I started, you know, writing something different, just to fuck around a bit. I composed something with organ and stuff, so it started sounding like an old Deep Purple song in a way. And then when I played it to the others, and I never really finished it, you know, just put down some bits and pieces. When I played it to the others this time, they said, well, this is a cool thing, you know, we should do something with it. And I said, well, that doesn't really fit to Gamma Ray, does it? And then they said, well, why don't we just do it as a bonus track, you know, on a Japanese album version and stuff like that. And actually, we did it. We finished this song together and did the rest of composing that had to be done in the studio, and I put it down, and now it's on the Japanese album as a bonus. So sometimes things like that happen.
Have you thought about releasing a Kai Hansen solo album in the future, maybe, with those songs?
Well, actually, not really. I mean, I always hate these kind of solo albums, mostly because normally this is about, people in the band are not really satisfied with what they are doing and want to do something different, And that's always the touch a solo album has. And therefore I really don't like them so much. But maybe, I think a solo album is good if you do something really different. Something that is really beyond your music. Some solo albums tend to be just sounding the same as the main band, because it's like most of the time it's the main songwriter of a band does a solo album, which in the end sounds like the band's album itself. And there I don't really see the point,
I agree to that, yeah. Your new album, of course, it sounds like Gamma Ray, and the quality, I believe, is good old Gamma Ray quality. Does it differ from your previous albums in a way?
I would say yes. I think this album is more aggressive, and it's more related to the origin of real heavy metal, which is the new wave of British heavy metal, the basis. And I think on this album you find a lot of things that are referring to that spirit, the old metal spirit. And it's not so operatic or orchestra-wise as Gamma Ray has been. It's the speed has slowed down a bit because we have so many fast numbers that always when we played live, we were yearning for some stuff that is more, groovy, more slow-paced, and so this time we actually wrote songs like that, and this is cool for the live stuff as well,
Okay, so that was conscious when you wrote the songs that you didn't.
Well, it just kind of happened, I actually the only real fast song I wrote was Solid. And even that is, compared to other stuff, is still kind of relaxed. For instance, the first track, which is, I would say, more a typical kind of Gamma Ray thing, Dethrone Tyranny, is written by Daniel, actually.
Okay. So some of the other guys write songs alone without your
absolutely. So on this album, 2 were written by Dan, 2 were written by Hanyo, and the rest was done by me. Mm-hmm. In the end, of course, we put it all together, and everybody puts his comments or his kind of style into these songs, So for instance, for Daniel's songs, I worked out the guitars, and, because he can't play guitar, he just composed the melody on a keyboard and the drum rhythm and all that, and then we sit down in the studio and he plays it to me, and I offer, what I have on chords and guitar, things to make it as he wants it, and then he says yes this way or that way, and no and yes, and so we do it together in the end.
Is there like a theme or a concept on this album? I mean, you've always been fond of science fiction.
Yeah, I mean, we got away from the science fiction stuff this time, but it's more something you could call fiction, but it's reality as well. Basically, the whole album has a conceptual background, as I would say, which is based on a book a fan of ours has written, and this book deals with with world conspiracy theories, especially the Illuminati and Freemasons, Templars, and all that. And this guy who wrote this book, he was like viewing the history of mankind seen through this angle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever happened in the world, and as well, from the beginning and in the Bible and so on. And so he compares it to what kind of influence these secret societies had on the real being of life, And it's a very interesting thing,
Now you share the composing of the songs. When it comes to writing the lyrics, who does that work?
Well, I do most of it, but with us, it's always like the one who writes the song has a certain idea for the lyrics as well. And this time, like Henyo wrote the lyrics for his songs, and Daniel wrote the lyrics for his songs too. But when I start to sing it, I always, come up with some stuff that are, more closer to the way I think they should sound when I sing them, or, put in some other words that maybe phonetically are more better for me to sing and stuff like that,
All right. I know that you record your albums in your own studio. Does that mean you spend much more time in making the albums?
Yes, we can afford that, and it's a very nice thing. So this time this half year was including the weekends were off. We didn't work on the weekends, and we sometimes when we didn't feel like when playing guitar or doing something, we just quit it, and went out and had a drink. And it's a very convenient way to work because you're not getting into this kind of stressy situation to have to do something and then do it not with all your heart. And for instance, if you do something before the weekend and you record a guitar solo or something like that, you can have the weekend off and listen back on Monday and then see if it's still good.
Sounds great. You said you've been on tour with Iron Savior again. Are you still that involved with the band that you used to be? No.
I just quit it.
Really?
Yeah. Peter and me, we sat down and said, well, this is not going to work like this, because when it came down to touring and playing live with Iron Savior, I never had time. I did the first tour and now the last tour. But in between, I was always busy with Gamma Ray, and that was strange for the fans as well, because they said, well, is this Kai's project, or is it not? Or is Kai a member of the band, or what is it, And I said it's about time to stop it, because it put some pressure on me. And as I said, I'd like to do things 100% with wholehearted, and I couldn't do this on Iron Savior because, I was always, Gamma Ray was priority. And so it was not really a happy situation after a while. In the beginning it worked because there was no, it was just a fun thing. After a while it became kind of a real band, and the band really has some duties to do and stuff like that, and if you can't bring yourself in that much, it's not really a good situation. So we said we just quit it, and I'll concentrate on Gamma Ray, and Pete will continue Iron Savior with somebody else then.
Now that you're releasing another Gamma Ray album, I believe that will take all of your time. Do you think there is a new Gamma Ray classic, or maybe two on a new album? Is it possible to pick up those now, or do you have to wait and see the response when you do this material live? Or
I think that there is quite a few classics. I mean, some songs that could turn into real, cult songs. But in the end, I always have my favorites in a way, but sometimes they change from time to time, and I just leave it up to time to find out which are the ones that are the all-time classics.
Which tracks are your favorites at the moment?
Well, at the moment, I really like Eagle. I like the intro and Dethroned Tyranny.